What's up, everybody? It's currently 44 degrees outside. This is the 2010 Wrangler, my daily driver. I was driving to work yesterday and realized the heater core must be plugged up because this vent is ice cold. This vent's lukewarm, and then this vent's kind of, nice and warm. That one over there is very hot. So I don't have dual AC. It's a 2010. It's very base modelish. It's gonna need technically a heater core replacement, but we're gonna try and flush it out today. I'm gonna show you guys how to do that. I've flushed them out in the past, not this one, but I've flushed other Wranglers out in the past, and they've seemed to come back around, and I've never seen them again. So that's when I was a technician. So give me some time. I'm gonna drive this thing into the backyard, let it warm up. Actually, I can't let it warm up because I don't want the coolant to be hot. Anyway, I'm gonna drive it to the backyard, and then I'll meet you guys back there. Well, as I'm driving back here, I'm sure you guys see the 2007 Wrangler rebuild. That one is actually doing quite well. It's actually running and driving now. So I got some more updates on that to post, but I know I did a lot of that off camera, sadly. I've been super busy. I work a lot, so luckily I found a day off to at least flush out my heater core. So that'll be fun. I guess we'll park it. Actually, you know what? Let me let my dog out. Close the gate and let my dog out. Let him run around. He needs to get some energy out. Alrighty, so let's get to flushing this heater core. This is my daily driver, so I want to make sure I do it right. This one's going to be a little bit more of a pain, only because of how much taller it is than the other one. So a couple things you're going to need are, alrighty, so you're going to need coolant, a funnel. I like to have these coolant hose pliers. You can kink the hose if you want, but these are nice to have just so you can be hands-free. And then a regular pair of pliers to get those hoses off. When it comes to coolant, you guys need to be very careful. I have already flushed this cooling system out. This is what I put in it. If you mix coolants, you can gel them up. These things came from the factory. The 3.8, the 07 to 2011 JKs came with Mopar 5-year coolant. That is hybrid organic acid technology. The newer ones, the 3.6, the 2012s and up, they come with organic additive technology. Be very careful. If you mix the two, it will gel up. It will gel up the whole system, and then you'll start overheating, all that nonsense. Be very cautious. The best thing to do is to open up your radiator cap. Well, open up your radiator cap. Mine's freaking empty. I didn't know that. Anyway, open up your radiator cap and just look at the color of the coolant. Sometimes it'll help to take a little syringe thing and take the color matters a lot. These things came with a purplish pinkish coolant from the factory. So if it's purplish pinkish, go to the dealer, get the 5-year coolant from the dealer. I just say you need 5-year Mopar coolant to know exactly what you're talking about. I work at a Mopar dealer, so if it's still got that stuff, put that back in it, because all we want to do is top it off. We don't want to flush the little system out. I actually did a coolant flush not too long ago. This is HOAT, i.e. hybrid organic acid technology coolant. Same kind of coolant, just a different color. This one's yellowish, so be very cautious. That one I actually got the genuine Mopar coolant for, so I could just go to the dealer, grab it, and just start pouring that sucker in, no questions asked. Now, if you open it up and there's green coolant in there, that would be glycol-based coolant. Go and get glycol-based coolant. Your regular Prestone stuff will work. That big yellow bottle of Prestone, it says it works for all makes and models. Don't buy that, man. Unless you have glycol coolant, you can buy it, but don't buy it if you got pink coolant in here. That's going to be a disaster. So if you have green coolant, go and get green coolant. If you have factory coolant, go get factory coolant. If you're really not sure, let's say you have blue coolant, somebody put Asian like coolant in your vehicle. I think that's still glycol based, but still be very cautious. If you go in there and it's some weird color, I would honestly just flush the whole thing out. Me, I know what I put in here, so I'm just gonna go ahead and put the same exact thing that I put in here. I've been driving it for another, oh gosh, I want to say 26,000 miles with this coolant that I put in here. So, and for some reason it's low, but we're just gonna ignore that for now. So now I have to find the heater core hoses. A lot of people, so the heater core hoses are right there. You can kind of see them. What a lot of people like to do is go all the way to the back there and get to the heater core. I have too many aftermarket accessories and too much stuff going on to do that. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get the hoses from up front here. There's one right there, and there's one on the side of the timing cover down. That's, okay, so that's the power steering hose, so don't mess with that, but it's lower than that. You can kind of see it right, well, this hose here, it's going down. So I'm probably going to remove the intake just to make it that much easier so you guys can see. For that, I'll just need a flat head. So I'll remove the intake and get you guys a better view. Alrighty, I forgot to explain what I'm flushing the heater core with. So we're going to be using this CLR. You can get this at your local hardware store. I think I got it from Ace Hardware, if I'm not mistaken. It says it's used for house stuff like toilet bowls and all that, but it works freaking awesome for heater cores. So that's what we're going to be using it for today. I actually had some extra. I can't remember where I got it from because I bought it like, I think like 2 years ago, or maybe a year and a half ago, when I flushed somebody else's heater core out, and I had a whole extra bottle, so I only had to use one. You should only need one. 28 fluid ounces. You should only need one. We're gonna let that coolant, we're gonna let the CLR sit in there for no longer than 10 minutes. But let me start getting this thing apart so I can show you guys what we're talking about here. Let me put this cap back on. All right, so I got that hose clamp loose. This literally just pops up, so all you have to do is pull up and it'll pop right out. Okay, so some of you guys might run into this issue where the hose has been on here for so long, it just doesn't want to come off. Get yourself one of these gargantuan picks. They got these are Pittsburgh, they're from Harbor Freight. And just kind of work your way around prying it open. It kind of acts like a glue of some sort. And you can see now it's finally starting to work its way off. Clamp it beforehand. We're gonna try not to lose too much right now. Come on. And if you can get inside there, that's great. You could just kind of work your way around. Maybe get the bottom a little bit. There we go. Now it should pull right off of there. There we go. And see that? Minimal loss. You are going to lose some, so don't worry about that. And I can honestly see there was already crap coming out of there. So trying to prevent that from going into my cooling system. Next hose is going to be down here. There it is right there. It's right next to your tensioner. I just put a new tensioner on. It's right next to that. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove that. It's gonna be hard to get on camera, so let me go ahead and do that off camera. Same concept as up here. Alrighty, so that coolant hose is off. You are gonna have quite a bit of coolant loss out of that timing cover. Just get a plug, put it on top of there. Alright, so now that both the hoses are off, I'm gonna route them up to the top here, and so we can get some gravity-fed CLR action going on. But first, let's drain that heater core by opening this here. Let's see if I can do this one-handed. I can. And not much coming out of there, but that's okay. I'm gonna have to lower the hose some more. Alrighty, so I got this heater core hose raised. The other one's down lower. Definitely still have to have some coolant in there. So one way to get it out is compressed air. I guess you can also just pour water in there until it gravity feeds out, hopefully. But both of the ports are at the top of the heater core, so it could just be flushing out the other way. So it's always something to think about. one thing I like to do is just take the upper hose, or not the upper hose, but the one that goes, the inlet hose, and blow some compressed air through it. I'm gonna try to get that on camera the best I can. But if I can't, please forgive me, because I still have not went out and bought a tripod. Maybe there. Oh, no, definitely gonna fall. All right, I'm gonna have to do this off camera, but I'm just gonna blow compressed air through the upper hose. I think I can get it a little bit. Ollie, get out of there. My dog's trying to get in there. All right, so that clears it out pretty good. Definitely helps to have an air compressor. Just a little pancake one will help too. Or if you're ballsy enough, I guess you could blow through it with your mouth, but I won't be doing that today. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna plug up the outlet hose again, just with the clamps here. Clamp it off, and I'm gonna pour some CLR in there, and then I'll hit you guys back in a second. Alrighty guys, so one thing I forgot to mention, I got the CLR in the funnel here. And the bottom hose is clamped. That will have to be unclamped to let that, it's kind of like a straw. Remember when you were a kid, you used to hold the top of the straw and the fluid would stay in there whenever you pull it out of the cup? Same thing here, but we got the clamp at the bottom, which I'm trying to get a video of, that I will have to unclamp. And all right, once you start seeing the CLR come out, that's when you can clamp it again. And then we'll just let that CLR sit in there for about 10 minutes. So I'm gonna wait out this 10 minutes and then I'll be right back. Alrighty, 10-minute timer is up. I also found a little stand for my light, I guess. Maybe it'll help you guys see. So, well, no, that just ended the video. Okay, hang on here. Maybe that'll work, I don't know. I hope it does. Let me grab my jacket. Forgive me for being a homegrown YouTube channel with no equipment. Okay, let's see here. Alrighty, so timer's up. Let's get this funnel out of here. Oh crap, not what I wanted to do. Now I got freaking CLR all over my hands. Let me undo the bottom clamp first, I guess. Oh, that crap stinks. Smells like iced tea. Get rid of that funnel. Hope CLR is safe for your skin. If not, I'm probably gonna have to go wash my hands. But let's take this compressed air. So foamy. Alrighty. Now I'm gonna get some water with the funnel and pour that into there. Let me go get some water, I'll be right back. Sorry about that, guys. I was getting a phone call from the boss man. Let me see if I can set this up one-handed. Maybe. Yes. Alright, so I did pour the water in there already. I just basically put the funnel in. The bottom hose is not clamped. I put the funnel in and I just poured water in there and get all that CLR out. I'm gonna go ahead and pour some more in there. Ollie! Ah, my dog's looking that up. Stop that! If you guys can hear it. Should be good and clear. I'll put some compressed air through there. Sorry about that, guys. I just had to put my dog up. Everything's going smoothly so far. All we got to do, I just, poured some water in there, pushed it out with the compressed air. And now what I'm going to do is hook everything back up and start filling it up with coolant again. I'm not going to pre-fill the heater core. Just going to go ahead and hook it back up and then just bleed it the manual way. I don't feel like doing all that, so hook that back up and this one down here back up. I did get CLR all over this thing in the process of doing this, so I'm gonna probably take a thing of water and just pour it all over the engine while it's cold. Put you guys down for a second. While it's cold, I'm just gonna put water on the engine just to get all that stuff off of there. I poured CLR all over this thing, so I flushed it out with the CLR and then ran a gallon of water through it after, just to try. You're never gonna get all of it out, but that's what you gotta run the engine for. So see if I can get this hose back on. Oops. Oh, not what I wanted to do. That's bad. All right, let me get these on off camera. Alrighty, coolant is topped off. The water that comes out of my faucet looks awful. I'm still gonna go ahead and use it anyway. Make sure the interior bore of the throttle body is nice and clean. Stuff could have gotten in there. Let's grab our intake tube. I do off-road with this thing, so it's muddy as crap, but that's okay. That's what it was built for, right? Gosh, it's windy out today. Let's see if I can get this in. Maybe I'll put the hose on first. There we go. And, okay, I gotta match that up. Give me 1 second. Alrighty, good to go. Tighten this clamp down. Come on, you little devil. Okay. Bam. All right. And can't forget this clamp that keeps these coolant hoses together. If I can get that to clamp, geez. There we go. Okay. Coolant hoses are good. I'll start the sucker up and bleed this cooling system. It was freezing cold out here this morning. Not so much anymore. It's probably about 50 degrees. Guess my Jeep will tell me. Okay. 44. Okay. Ain't as bad as I thought it would be. Alrighty. Alright, let's get this thing bled. I'll be right back. Smell that CLR burning off the exhaust. It'll be fine. This one's a lot quieter than the rebuild we did. Time to turn on the heat and just stare at the temp gauge. So before, I think I explained it in the beginning of the video, the left ones were cold and the right ones were hot. This thing does not have dual AC, so usually that means it needs a freaking heater core, but well, we tried something today. I'm gonna let this thing warm up and then we'll check it in a second. You're getting closer to warming up. As you can see there, still feel quite a temperature difference, but I'm just gonna let it warm up fully. The left vents will naturally be a little bit cooler than the right vents because the heater core is over there. Or the air comes out first there and then travels its way over here. So naturally the warmest air is going to be over there. However, it should not be ice cold over here. So it's not really hot enough to tell, but I'm going to get that coolant circulating through there and see where we're at with it. I actually don't have any heat yet. Should have some. It's probably just not bled fully. Best thing to do is to give it some revs. There it goes. It's starting to come out now. You don't have to rev the absolute crap out of it. Just up to 2,000 is about fine. Still got not much out of here. This one's starting to get really warm. There is a chance that this could not fix the issue, guys, so all this work I've done today could be for nothing. But let me let it get fully warm before I make that decision. Now that we got some coolant to the heater core, let it run again. This is definitely warmer. Over here is nice and hot. But let's give it some time, let it warm up. Could just be because it's not fully warm yet. Alright, so it's definitely getting better. Got some heat here on the very end. Lots of heat on the second one. Before, these two were pretty much ice cold. This one here was, I guess it wasn't ice cold, but it was definitely like, I guess you could say just above room temperature, or outdoor temperature. So, and then these two over there were always fine. Definitely have a lot more heat coming out of these, so we are just about fully warmed up. Now that I can rev it a little bit higher, get that coolant. This one's definitely come back around. There's so much more heat coming out of this. This one's kind of coming back around. We definitely got some heat out of it. This one was ice cold before. So we're definitely got better heat. Just gotta let her get nice and hot. Okay, this one's coming back around. Still, I mean, it's warm. It's not, by the time it gets to your face, it's not really that warm, but up close, it's pretty hot. I wonder if that fan kicked on yet. Probably not. Maybe it did once or twice, I don't know, I wasn't paying attention, but that is the basics of flushing out a heater core. I do it by the hoses only because I'm not trying to get all the way to those, I'm not trying to get to those heater core hoses at the actual heater core. So, plus that just makes it a pain. The hoses make it nice, you can stick a funnel right in there and kind of get to it right from there. I actually just found a coolant leak at my thermostat. That's cool. But yeah, that's the basics there. The thermostat's not even open yet, so it's not at operating temp. So it's definitely going to work with how hot that left one's getting. So much warmer. So yeah, that's the basics of flushing out a heater core. Thank you guys for watching. Hopefully I'll have some more informational stuff. Maybe I'll do a video on that thermostat housing. I don't know. We shall see. But in the meantime, y'all stay breezy. Just make sure y'all do your due diligence. My fan just came on, so theoretically this thing should not overheat. One way to check if it's going to overheat, Well, the fan kicked off, so that's a good sign. That means it did cool it down. When the fan's on, just feel the air coming out of it. If it's ice cold, there's no coolant circulating. That means you got an air pocket somewhere. But this hose is nice and hot, so that means the thermostat's open. It's circulating through here and coming into the radiator. So we're good. Anyway, sorry guys. You have a good day.